Do you find yourself in a lot of meetings with higher up stakeholders where it is important for you to contribute to the conversation because that is going to demonstrate your knowledge and expertise and take your career to higher levels, but you're noticing that when you go to share and express yourself and share your ideas, that you're noticing that you have people interrupting you? Well, if that's your experience, then this is the video for you, because today in this video, what I want to share with you is how do you stop others from interrupting you, and therefore you can be heard and you can share your ideas with that space, right? So I'm going to share with you 3 ways, and at the end of this video, you will be able to implement them and notice yourself in meetings to be able to divert that away from happening to you and for you to be able to have the space to share your ideas, right? So let's go. Before we begin on the 3 ways, there is something very important that I need to share with you. And this is really important because there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to communicating in meetings and when it comes to having your space to share your ideas, right? So let's look at, what I want to share with you is looking at why this happens. Why are people interrupting? Why are there powers, authorities and powers, stakeholders, right, colleagues and so on? Why does that happen? And I really want to get into this because it's important for your empowerment. Because I want you to know that this has nothing to do with you. When you are being interrupted by another person, it's not because you are shy, it's not because you're introverted, it's not because you don't have the required necessary knowledge, it's not because of you. In fact, when you really look at it, when someone else is interrupting you, it's someone other than yourself causing that particular situation or the disruptance in that conversation. There's a whole variety of external factors why that is happening. And so rather than focusing on with the reasons why that's happening and making assumptions about why they're doing it or making assumptions about yourself that there's not good enough, right? There's a whole lot of external reasons. So the whole name of the game is not to take that blame, not to take the blame for their choice to interrupt you and not to take the blame on self or not to take the blame on other people, right? So I just wanted to really share that with you because when you get into that space, that is one of the most empowering things that you can do for yourself that will help you open up to share your ideas and for you to be able to handle, should interruptions do come up again, for you to be able to handle it and come out on the other side with that empowerment. All right, so I want to hear from you. Comment below. This is really important because knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So comment below. I want to hear from you. Are you noticing that there's interruptions when you share your ideas? I want to know if that is a struggle for you. And what are some of the ways that you've been trying to do so far to overcome those things? What are some things that you've been trying? I want to hear from you. And we're going to go through the 3 ways on how you can stop others from interrupting now. And I want to let you know that this video, in terms of how you stop others from interrupting you, this video is a sequel to a previous video I did on how you can stop being the person that interrupts other people. So if you want to see that, just click on the link above. It's either in this corner or that corner. And that is the previous video I did on how to stop yourself from interrupting others so that you can have a meaningful dialogue. So catch that, not right now, but catch that, and let's go to the 3 ways to be heard in a conversation. The first technique to stop others from interrupting you so that you can be heard is to optimize your pace. Your pace is the speed at which you speak. Now, everybody has a different natural pace. Some people naturally speak faster than other people. Some people naturally speak slower than other people. If you noticed it, and if you've been following me for a while on my YouTube channel, you'll notice that I have naturally a faster pace. So this is where you want to understand that sometimes your natural pace is not your most optimal one. So if you do notice that in meetings that you are consistently feeling and hearing people interrupting you, chances are your pace is not optimal. It is a little too slow. Because when you are too slow, there could be long pauses between your ideas, there could be long pauses between words, and chances are it could be possible that your audience member, their audience doesn't know when you have finished, or they assume you're already finished. Or it could also be that some individuals, because those that think faster, talk faster, those individuals tend to be a little bit more impatient around individuals who talk at a slower pace. So that's why it's important to understand the feedback from your audience, to be in the moment and present and looking at their reactions to you, looking at how they receive what you're saying, how they respond to it, and an interruption is a response. So chances are this is where you got to look at, where is my pace right now? What has it naturally been? And is it the most optimal? And you'll know that your pace is optimal when your audience can understand when you are done, when you are not done, and when you are still in conversation, that you can still hold their attention there, right? So that is technique number 1, is to optimize your pace. The second technique to stop others from interrupting you is to optimize your authentic delivery. So what do we mean by that? Delivery, by the way, is delivering your content. How do you deliver it, which is the actual speaking part. Authentic delivery has nothing to do with being articulate or fluent. There's a lot of misinformation out there about communication, that you need to be fluent, you need to be articulate. But if you are an executive, if you are an established career professional, it is already the bare minimum to have fluency and to have that articulation. And if you've gone so far in your career path, if you look at your resume so far, right, chances are you are a manager, a senior manager, you're an executive, or you're in the running for an executive. Those successes on your resume didn't get there by accident. You already have the bare minimum. You already have the basics in terms of articulation and fluency. It's not about that. That's already expected. Authentic delivery is going above and beyond that. And this is where you are understanding, how did those successes on my resume, how did they get there? What are the principles that I have been following all along? So this is taking your knowledge and your expertise, your decades and years of knowledge and expertise, distilling them down into the root principles on how you can transfer that, because the principles, your principles, are the wisdom that you have developed over your years of your career path. Is the wisdom, and the wisdom is what they're hiring you for. The wisdom is what they're looking for in those meetings when you're brainstorming and sharing your ideas. They're not looking to hear your methodologies and your processes. They want to hear what's the wisdom, what's the principle behind it. And when you share from that perspective, it is authentic, because they are the truths of what you have applied that got to where you're at. Right? So if you are understanding this, you're starting to see, yes, that is what I need to share. That is the depth that I can contribute, the highest level of content that I can create and share in the meetings. If you are seeing this right now and you're still wondering, well, how do I distill my knowledge into principles? How do I know what my truths are? How do I withdraw that from my knowledge? How do I do that? And if you want to be able to be successful at that, and take your communications to the highest levels beyond just fluency and articulation, then I invite you to work with me. Below this video in the description, there is a link, the first link, by the way, and that is an application to apply for my coaching program. And this is an executive coaching program where I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to distill your knowledge into their core principles, how to communicate those knowledge as well, and ensure that what you share is wisdom in your understanding, wisdom that you have collected beyond the years. And when you share it, that's how you capture your audience, by the way. So every single week, I teach classes on how to have that high level of communication and how to be able to share your wisdom, not just your ideas, but the thinking behind your ideas as well. And that is a truly highest level of communication that you can achieve. So if you're serious, only if you're serious about achieving that outcome, then apply the link below, and I look forward to working with you on the inside. The third technique on how to stop others from interrupting you is to optimize the redirect. The redirect. What do I mean by that? Right? This is where, remember in the beginning, I talked about this. At the start of this video, I said it's about not taking any blame, not giving any blame as well. So if you are in a conversation and you do notice that there is somebody stepping up to interrupt, stepping up to insert their idea or insert their opinions, this is where you can redirect. What do you redirect to? You redirect back to your idea. You redirect back to the outcome you can provide in that conversation. So it's simply like saying something that sounds like this. You know, let's say somebody is interrupting you and you say, I appreciate your enthusiasm for sharing your opinion. That's a really great idea. Is it all right if I just have 2 more minutes to complete my thought? And then I'm happy to pass the torch back to you. I will pass the torch back to you. Is that all right? And it's simply redirecting back. And in that case, you don't sound desperate. You don't at all, you're not interrupting them back again. In fact, you are acknowledging their contribution first and giving them acknowledgement and affirmation that what they're sharing is very valuable. But now you're just simply saying that, is it okay if I just spend a couple more minutes? And this is important because now they know how much time that you need, and you're just going to finish your thoughts, wrap up, and now they know what to expect. Right? So optimize that redirect. And it's really important to do so because sometimes it could just be genuine that they didn't know you weren't finished and they assumed that you were, especially if going back to the first optimization is at your pace, right? So what have I covered so far? 3 techniques. First technique is to optimize your pace. Second technique is to optimize authentic delivery. And the third technique is to optimize the redirect. And by the way, if you are looking for how do I redirect, one of the best ways to redirect, by the way, is to ask great questions. Your ability to ask great questions will also prevent others from interrupting you because questions are your answers. Questions are ways that you can insert in dialogue as well and to expand upon your ideas through these questions. So if you want to find out, how do I ask great questions? How do I ask better questions? Then watch out next The video that I have coming up next is that will give you some strategies on how you can ask better questions and therefore have higher level, better conversations. So look out for that video coming up, and I'll see you there.